Hello beautiful people, Joetraitorsdraws here, and I'm gonna be doing an IZZY hands drawing tutorial today. These are my credentials. I'm totally normal about him. You're going to want to start with a blank sheet of paper. It doesn't matter what size you use or how big your drawing has to be. There are no rules to this, really. You could even use lined paper if you want. I'm not gonna gatekeep. You don't even have to use what I use in this video, but let's get started anyway. We're gonna start with this very small piece of paper that I've got. This is a Ticonderoga, I think. It's just a regular old pencil with an eraser. And then I have this Graph Gear 500, 0.5, and I think it works really well. Then, just basically. When it comes to erasers, I highly recommend a triangle-shaped eraser. This one was just a square. My pencil decided to take an adventure. Let's move that. Now we're gonna get started. It's just to, give you a guideline. So we're going to take the Graph Gear 500, and we're just going to draw a circle to start out with. I mean, even if it comes out as an oval, it's still something. So let's just make a very little circle here. I never make mine very big. So just a circle. That's what we're going to start with. Quick yap session here, but I just started this YouTube channel. I posted a previous video on here, but this is my second video. If you'd like to subscribe, that would be fantastic. I really just love my little family on here. Now that I've successfully plugged that, this is going to be the reference I use on my old, crappy phone. Never throwing it out. Ever. We need to work on building the shape of the face, so I usually start at the forehead, sort of, so we're going to just begin making that curve there. I personally think Con O'Neill is one of the most attractive men out there, at least for me, and in part two because he's a really nice person in real life. But we're going to draw that forehead now. You want to be delicate about it? We're not worried about making this look perfect. We are going to clean this up. So make a slight curve, and then curve it again, like that. His cheekbone's very high, so we're doing a high cheekbone. And then a little bit outwards on the side of the face. And we're gonna just do little jotty lines here to be where his facial hair is kind of gonna be. As for the jawline, we're just building up at this point. Don't sit there and fuss about the details. We'll be here all fucking day. Okay, right, so we're gonna move on now. Here, you kind of want to do this fuck-ass hairline base, so I know where the line is for it, so I know when everything stops. So we're just gonna start at the forehead and make a circle right here, half circle, then just straight down like this. Do you think he feels bonita?
I feel bonita.
Wonderful, because you look bonita.
We are making that ear straight down. Booyah. Ugh, I hate it, but we'll work on it. Okay, but seriously, I'm gonna start at the point where the forehead kind of ends, and there's this little scrunched up part right here. You don't have to do this crisscross thing to map out where the face is. I just like to do it because I forget what I'm doing 5 minutes in. We're slowly just going to build those lines over where the forehead ends and the eyebrows begin. Make him look a little angry. Carving out some eye shapes. He has very, very unique eyes, so I like to kind of give them a bit of a hood. Don't ever underestimate my skills again. Let's work on those curvatures. There's a hood of the eye right here, and then the same thing on the other side. Some pretty little lashes, because he's a pretty princess, and then some pupils. Very, very lovely. Okay, we're gonna work on that brow again. My favorite part is his nose. We're gonna go make a curve like so, and then out just like that. And then down. Don't be afraid if it comes out a little big. You could always erase, but just play around a little. Con has a specific nostril shape, and I like to nail it, so we're gonna do kind of this curve, this down curve. It's like a teardrop shape, but wonkier, and then curve up, and a little indentation here, and a little indentation there. Now we're going to hook the nose all the way around like that. I like to build the facial hair from the mustache, so that's where we're going to start. And his mustache is kind of wide at the top, but then dips in right here like this. And let's redefine some of that hair situation we've got going and build our mustache with little bitty strands. And then line the lips, bottom lip being the most important here. It's a goatee shape, so that's what I'm going to do with these lines here. He's an old man, so we're going to give him some wrinkles. One on the nose, one underneath the eye. Same thing. Some crow's feet. Long ones, because he has some long ones. And we're going to fix that jawline from earlier. I'm going to start building his hair, too, while we're at it. So just make... They don't have to be neat. You can just make lines, and we're kind of going to go for big on top, a curve, then out again, and kind of just little swoopy hairs here and there. His neck sort of just follows suit from his hair, and then a little more on this side and the adjacent sideburn, and just building up the hair on each side like this. And as you can see, our Izzy is coming together, and this is more of his neck here, and then we are looking great, actually. I'm very proud of how this is looking so far. We're going to start to build his vest and his shirt underneath it. So we're going to make his shoulders, start to carve out where the vests end and where the shirt begins. I kind of put where the creases are going to be and where the lapel is going to be. You can do this part however you want, but this is a tutorial, so follow it at your own risk. As you can see here, I made the collar of his shirt and added some extra lines to his neck. And then we're going back and making his little tie and the ring on it. Which, by the way, that's his mother's ring. That is so sweet. I love that. I'd appreciate a lore drop about Izzy's mom. I think all of the R-Flag cast need to drop stories about their characters and lore about them. We don't have enough. I need to age him a little bit. He's too young looking, so we're adding some wrinkles. Just on the forehead, the temple, and then we're going to build those eyebrows. Ugh, looking rough. I'm just going to quickly redefine those eyes again because they're getting lost in the sauce. I'm sorry for torturing everybody with seeing my hands. They are not glamorous looking at all. But at least we get to look at Izzy's handsome mug for a little bit. I fixed his side there, and we're going to just go in and erase that and just start over because I didn't like it. That's better, much more full. Subsequently, we're going to have to do his jawline, so we're going to just go in and erase that with a little pencil and fix it, make it more full on the bottom. There we go. Poetry. If you don't know me in my personal life, I'm a self-shipper, and Izzy happens to be my fictional other. I think the comments are going to call me delusional, rip me to shreds, what have you. I'm prepared for that, but at the end of the day, I'm not hurting anyone. I'm having fun. And this drawing is among the 50 that I've done of him. As we jump back in, we're going to focus on the finer details now. This is certainly not my magnum opus, but I'm going to focus on making his face a lot better. Take the eraser you have and just go over the drawing very carefully. Don't erase too much. Just go over it like a little bit, and then erase any excess smudges from your fingers off the corners. I do that. I'm not going to sit there and wear gloves when I draw. I can't focus. So we're going to fix our mistakes. We are purging our sins right now. I promise you that my muse is more gorgeous than I am making him right now. I've written far too much fanfiction about this man to fail him now. I can never discern whether he'd be flattered or creeped out by my obsession. Let me know in the comments if you guys think I could pull Izzy, and be honest with me. Really, all we're doing is sharpening the lines now. That's it. That's really it. And just erasing bits that I don't like or that I think could be better. And we're making that forehead ridge a lot stronger. I absolutely adore this shape right here. I just look at it. It's fucking perfect. My other artists will know that when facial hair is starting to turn gray or white at the bottom, you do kind of a gradient. So for my beginners, I'm going to show you how to do a gradient. You make it all pretty. Wait, no, side quest. I'm hyperfixating on the brow We might just do the eyebrows first. Forget what I said. We're scrapping the plan and making eyebrows. Because that's art. Sometimes you change your mind. My little princess, my princess, needs a pretty nose. Look at him. He was truly built by the gods. Just ugh, I love big noses. I love big noses. What did I don't like Doja Cat, but what did she say about big noses? It's so true. I think what I like about Izzy's nose is that it's so unique. I've never seen another nose quite like it. It's a very specific nose to get right, and if you don't do it a certain way, it's just gonna look so off. Let's bring out that cheekbone. You got too much sideburn going on. Let's inject him with some HRT and give him facial hair. If I have half of this when I start HRT, that would be awesome. Look at him go. He's got some wiry, curly ones in there with the straight hairs. I just adore that. Let's line that lip again. Give it some character. Make him scowly a little bit. Because he's Mr. Grumpy. I think he'd knock my block off for saying that. And I'd let him do it. I really would. Eyebag City over here. Ugh, isn't he just gorgeous? I'm connecting the brow bone with the nose in this beautiful little curve. Back to the lips, we're making that bottom lip a little softer, not as stark. Ugh. And some mouth action, and just barely showing his teeth. And then back to that goatee. Don't be afraid to make it a little curly, maybe a little janky even. Don't be casual about it. You have artisan hands, put them to good use. Make those eyes, carve them out. Carve them like the Greeks carved into stone. Or was it marble? Marble? Stone? I don't know, I'm stupid. Consider this art class, not history class. We're making circles, bitch. Yo, Mr. White, we're making circles. I'm filling in the eyes to make them more expressive, leaving a little shine in the outermost corner. Like, we're not going to spend 6 hours on the shading, like I normally would for some of my more intense pieces, but we are going to go back to carving out that eye, same as before, but we're going to make those lines a lot more firm. It's all about confidence. You're the artist, you know what you're doing. It doesn't have to be like Van Gogh level. Be firm in your inadequacy. Making mistakes is the key to learning. I'd rather have to erase this piece 100 times before I ever touched AI. I prefer my art real, thank you very much. It's bad for the environment, besides it rots your brain. Pick up a fucking pencil. You asked ChatGPT to draw this? Well, I asked the moon goddess and she says do it your damn self. Really just concentrate on building up those lines. Yeah, see that? Now our eyebrows look less like shit. We're starting to make like a pattern here. And you want to darken them towards the center because Izzy's eyebrows are very light on the outside but dark on the inside. Think gradient, but if the gradient met in the middle. Mirror effect, Yeah. I'm satisfied with that. I usually have trouble with eyebrows, but I'm satisfied. Let's move on to the mustache. We are going to darken that sucker up. Yeah, and we're just going to keep doing that. And we're going to stop about halfway and make it as light as possible at the bottom so it fades into a nice white at the bottom. Let's bring this ear back to life. Give it some shape. There was a bit of a dip at the bottom when I was looking at my reference photo, and I really liked that, so I wanted to keep that. So we have the shell of the ear done. And back to the neck. Ooh. Yes. Oh, I'm obsessed. Funnily enough, when I met Con O'Neill back in, I want to say 2024, wow, almost 2 years ago now, I was in drag as Izzy in the Calypso's birthday episode for San Jose GalaxyCon, and I presented Con with a piece of my art, which is super cool that he owns that now, but he specifically said he liked the way I drew his nose, and I've been doing it more and more ever since. This technique I'm using here is called cross-hatching, which basically is just overlapping lines, and I'm doing that to add texture to his shirt because he has a very textured fabric. While it's not perfect, I think it's good enough for me. I like the way that it looks. You don't have to like my style. That's the beauty of art. 1 minute you're hot, the next minute you're not. But the only thing that's constant is that your art is for you. Oh, I love drawing his ring. It's like an emerald square cut. If I ever had a wedding ring, it would be that. Now we just need to darken up his neck scarf with little just scribbles. I really am just like lazy with this part. It's just scribbling. Some details to the facial hair and the neck, just to give it more depth. While we're sketching out the vest part, just kind of making space for her, I actually own a replica of the vest. I bought it for it was pretty cheap, I'd say, for a leather vest, but it ended up being really high quality and it was insulated, so it was nice and toasty. And it's kind of nice that it at least semi-fits. I'm built like a linebacker, so nothing ever fits me. More cross-hatching. I'll be cross-hatching your dad after this. Scribbling, scribbling, scribbling. It's not stripes, but cross-hatching. I am a genius. I am a genius. No one has ever done it like me. Yeah. Beautiful. Now we do the rest of the shirt. One micro agitating, grating detail at a time. Ugh. I'm glad it's a darker color so I can just cover it up and we don't have to think about it. We don't even have to worry about it. We can just pretend that my lines are all pretty and they're not ugly. Here I am drawing his hair when he should be the one pulling my hair. Is that too wild to put into the final cut? I think that might be a little wild. Well, if it makes the final cut, I'm sorry, I'm a pervert. You'll thank me when his hair is all pretty. He's gonna be the prettiest girl at the party. Why did I sound like Alan from Smiling Friends there for a second? God damn it. Oh god, I get bored when I'm filming this. We're gonna make like a thousand lines. Just follow my lead, okay? We're gonna make lines. This is the line chapter of this. And they're not all gonna be perfect, and some of them are too thick and dark, and it just pisses me off. Also, I wish you guys could see that I've jimmy rigged my ring light on top of a chair, on top of a rack to make this video because I don't have the proper setup. And this is a chair I'm doing this on. You gotta do what you gotta do when you're poor. All my homies hate this administration. Okay, traders, I think we've cleaned him up decently. And I think we're in the home stretch here. We're doing pretty awesome. We're doing some additional cleanup if you have any messy lines like I do, because I like to scribble all over the place. Yeah. Disappear like my dad with the milk. Disappear like Izzy's sanity post season 1. Man, I'm really trying to reinforce these lines so we can fill it in. Do I want to... You know what? I'm just going to do the best. Why not? No particular rhyme or reason. We're just going to just scribble it in like a maniac. There's no form whatsoever. Is this anarchy? What was this part of the video? Just me just mindlessly scribbling on it. Okay, that's a choice. That is definitely a choice, me from an hour ago. Look at me go. I have the audacity, the confidence, there's just not giving a shit about the lines, apparently. But you know what? I was feeling myself. I'm gonna give myself a little credit. Oh, okay. Nope, he's blending now. We're good. Yeah, no, he fixed his... he fixed his mistakes. And darkened the line, yes. Yes, bitch. I'm not gonna let his ear disappear into the sideburn, so let's just fix that real quick. And then start doing the gradient. See that? You keep the white at the bottom without completely making his entire head of hair dark, because it's not. There's a lot of age to his hair, and I want to keep that. because I'll be damned if he ever gets twinkified under my watch. And once again, we're just going to go back to lines. So many lines. So many. I sped up this part just for time's sake, but you leave some white there, you know? Mr. White!
Yeah, Mr. White!
Could you imagine even more erasing and even more line work? All that's left is for me to sign this bad boy with my signature. And that's it. We are done. And that is how you draw IZZY hands. And with that, we've reached the end of the video. If you liked it, make sure to give me more suggestions on content you'd like to see. I do this totally for free, but if you want to support my channel, go to my Venmo link in my bio. Bye-bye!